Hello everyone, my name is Yusi and welcome to my channel. In this video I will be talking about impactful life lessons that were shared with me when I turned 30. So I have 7 in this jar that we will be discussing, and these ones are about agency and awareness. So when I got different birthday wishes, I asked about impactful life lessons that you want to share with me as I turn 30, and people provided various answers, and I then compiled all and put them into various themes that were reoccurring. So let's get started. All right. Okay, so this one says, and this is from someone who went to the same uni as me for undergrad. So she says, one thing I've learned and I'm still learning to practice is not allowing fear control my actions. It sounds sort of basic, but I think in life, at least for me, every action was either conceived from fear or faith. And doing things out of fear holds you captive to it, to the point where you no longer have control of your life. That's very interesting. So that weighing of fear and faith, and hoping that you more so act in faith. So yeah, just being able to have that awareness of what's the motivating factor is, and ensuring that you're not doing things because you're too scared, instead of having faith in God. All right. Okay, I've been trying to do this while working on my clay, but it's not something that comes to me easy because I'm holding these things, but I'll try it in this one. Okay, so the second lesson, and this is someone who went to the same high school as I did. So she says, one thing I'm still learning is that life doesn't always go as planned, but we can focus on what brings us peace, joy, and laughter. The real win is finding happiness in the journey, not just the achievements. So being around people that bring out the best in you and never giving up. And that's a very strong one. And to kind of go back a bit, agency is just, that awareness of you are the one that can make your decision, and, being very much mindful that you control your life. Obviously, God oversees and has already a plan for you, but knowing that you are the one that takes those actions that lead you to the purpose that he brought you here for. So I like that this kind of says what we could focus on, because life does do its thing. So life be lifing, and then just choosing to find happiness in that path. So trusting the process, or I guess finding joy in the process and not just like the end point. So feeling like this, I'm still not using my clay, so we're gonna try to do better with that. Okay, so next one, this is the third one, so let's see. Sorry, it's loud. Okay, so this is from someone who is my childhood friend, family friend. We went to primary school together. She says, and this is something that, okay, let's read it first. And yeah, so one lesson I've learned is in life, you must always advocate for yourself, especially at work, in your career. Nobody is looking out for you except you. I would also say, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. So when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Some people are in our lives only for seasons or to teach us a lesson. Okay, let's try to work on this. So I really, really love this. And I'm sure other lessons will speak to me at different times. But this is something, the act of advocating for yourself, that's something that I really actively started taking action in and doing, especially within like when dealing with the medical fields, like medical professionals, telling them and standing my ground when I say that, okay, I think something's wrong, or I need someone who kind of has a experience dealing with people who kind of are similar to me. So I think just speaking up and knowing that, no one will do that for you, but you have to speak up for yourself, and not being afraid to do so, because it could be the difference between, life and death, for when it comes to health. But for other reasons, it could be the difference between getting recognized for a raise versus being let go, So it's such an important thing. And then she also talks about, when you believe in someone when they show you who they are, and that is very true, So, but I love that advocating, because it's so important. Like, and I've been actively trying to do that for myself. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Okay, so this is from someone who went to the same uni as me for undergrad. So he says, live the life you love, and love the life you live. Give as much as you take. Gratitude over everything. God first. So he gave a couple of life lessons at once, and I would say that just living the way you love, and love the life you live. That's something that, we have, although I know circumstances and your environment can limit you living the life you want, but, being able to take those steps each day to be closer to the life that you envision for yourself. So I'm happy that I'm creating these videos, because I've wanted to for a while, and I've not been consistent, but I kind of still see myself doing this, even if it's gonna be like various formats. But like, if you want something, you then need to take those steps to get it done. So I like that. Also, gratitude over everything. I have been very intentional about being thankful for the little things and for the big things as well, and obviously God first. So this is a lot of nuggets in this one. All right, let's go to the next. Okay, so this is from my cousin. So she says the hers isn't really a lesson, but more a habit. So that she's trying to be more intentional about. So it is choosing to be present over perfect. It's still a work in progress, but I'm finding life is more meaningful when you live in the moments. And she referred me to a book about it, and I think I will leave that book in the description if you want to look into it further. But I like that about, it's more meaningful when you live in the moment. So from what I understood, and it might be off, but I got that as, like, for me, a world that, we're always on our phones, and, it's sometimes we're not present and really taking in what's around us. But, when we actually are actively there, then, there is that broader, or I guess wider sense of, this is like being present, I guess, and knowing that this is a precious moment that might be hard to replicate. So, very nice. Okay, I see my battery is about to die, so I'm gonna switch up and be right back. Okay, we're back. Let me start with we have just 2 more, so we're almost at the finish line. So let's go. Okay. So this is from someone who went to the same primary school as I did, and his life lesson, impactful life lesson is that his life is his. So not his family's or his faith's or his culture or country or future or past, but his. So he's saying he belongs to himself, and he gets to decide what he gets to decide what to value and lord over him. And that's the lesson. So we are so that we are responsible for ourselves, and being able to use different versions of ourselves in different situations can save your life. And I remember this was a message where he kind of gave me an example, and so I really understood what he meant. And it's so true that, you know, it's still that whole theme about agency and being aware that this is your life. And as a Nigerian, we are born, well, a lot of Nigerians anyway, and my own personal self, I was born into a Catholic family, and you know, faith was something that I grew up in. And coming to Canada, I had to take a step back and really analyze like my faith, my like religion, and deciding that okay, this is actually something that even though I grew up with, it's still something that I am drawn to and I feel is, you know, increasing and improving my relationship with God. But in addition to that, I started also tuning into sermons on YouTube that I felt helped me increase my understanding of the Bible, and obviously increase my faith and my relationship with God. So just like knowing that, okay, even if you're born into something, being able to, you know, really analyze it. And then I think something he also said is, you know, using different versions of ourselves in different situations. So I think that is, you know, we are faceted in nature, and you know, being able to really understand the environment you're in and act accordingly while being true to yourself. So not necessarily being fake, but also understanding that, okay, how do I navigate this space? So really like that take on things. Okay, last life lesson, I believe for this one, there are actually 2 more parts for the agency and awareness. I found that a lot of people had life lessons that had that theme. So for the last one, this was from someone who went to the same same university as I did, and he says, don't dwell on things beyond your control. Also drink water. So that was you know, very brief but very direct in terms of you really can't, I mean, you really shouldn't try to stress over things that you can't do anything about. And I am guilty of doing this, but don't dwell, you know, because you're kind of wasting time. but it's okay to kind of think about it and find solutions. But you know, when something has happened, whether it's based on something you did or based on something someone else did, you know, how do you move on from it and find solutions, or not use it to you know, have like negative emotions towards someone else. So I like that. And then obviously drinking water is extremely important. So that's something that I do in terms of try to do more of. And I find myself just being thirsty and drinking a lot of water. But yeah, that's definitely something that if you haven't been doing, you better start drinking more water, get a bigger bottle, and you know, that helps your skin, helps your, you know, water is life. I think I've heard people say that, and that is true. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope these 7 lessons were helpful, and let me know if you connected with any in particular, or if you have any to share. So again, thank you so much for watching. As my dad used to say, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. So do something today that your future self will thank you for. All right, have a good one. Bye.